Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode of Heroes of the Storm, in our A through Z playthrough, we're going to be playing Tyrande, the next T character, and character very close to the end of all things, so we're doing it. But in this video, I'll show you what I build on the character, how I think it is most effective to heal with her, and we will be playing on one of her best maps. So, fingers crossed, everything goes swimmingly. So, anyway, Tyrande is, at the end of the day, a single target healer with some pretty distinct utility, as well as most of her kit being based around her auto attacks. So, if you are of the type of player who likes to right-click and chase people down with your healers, then maybe this is the one that you need. Ultimately, she is very aggressive, but she is also very follow-up centric, so a lot of her healing, when she is being played into, is very difficult. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you have a dive comp and you're playing into Tyrande, or if you're playing into a dive comp as Tyrande, you're probably just fucked, because if anyone can get on top of this character, she's really easy to kill. That being said, a lot of the... just a 2 versus 1 up in the top lane, casually losing our Azul. I had it and it was gone, and then poof. A lot of the players that I follow that play this character in a more professional setting, I typically see them taking owls, but I am not going to be taking owls, mainly because using owls is a lot more difficult, and ultimately it doesn't let me heal as much as I want to with a character that just is dead right now, because we tried to take over a camp when instead of... whatever. I was there, I made the bad decision too, so it's fine. I can't hit owls consistently enough at long distances, so I'm going to stay away from them, excuse me, and focus on more auto-attacking, more upfront damage, and healing. So all that being said, my build is going to reflect that, and here it is for you right now. Oh my god, he's dead. Oh, he got the shield out. He barrel rolled. The wolf is going to miss, though. So is the owl. And Karazim's just going to casually walk away while the impalers continue impaling. The build that I use is True Shot Aura at 1, Everlasting Light at 4, 7 is going to be Moonlit Arrows, 10, I don't know, 13 is going to be Harsh Moonlight, 16 will end up being debatable based on what we pick. Nice stun from past me, doing a fantastic job. And then 20 will ultimately be either an upgrade of our ultimate, or it will end up being one of the 2 auto attack talents. Everything at 20 is very good, so once we get there, with the exception of the Shadow Stock upgrade, which I don't love. It's just vision of the enemy team, I think, and more healing. Yeah, like, what? Who cares? Now, all that being said, though, this build does focus a lot on Tyrande's traits, a lot on her auto-attacking, and then using her heals in a very spread-out manner. So, if you're playing the character and you're playing her this way, there's a couple nuances to that, but we can talk about those once we get there. Her abilities, pretty simple stuff. I mean, her Q is 2 charges, point-and-click heal, no matter what you do. And your auto attacks are going to reduce the cooldown of it by 1.5 seconds. That's auto attacks and damage from your abilities. So if you hit someone, if you hit multiple people with either owls or your lunar flare, your E, you're going to get multiple instances of time off of the ability, which is good because both charges come back immediately. So if you get the cooldown reduction for 1, then you're going to get 2 charges for the price of 1. Really good stuff. Not sure why Zul's the one trying to race. That's fine. All we can really do here is hope to kill the enemy team as much as possible, maybe get an experience lead from some kills, and then save ourselves some damage on that first immortal. Zul has finally decided that he doesn't want to race anymore. But here we are. So, it's fine. I don't have a whole lot of mana. Let's just go ahead and keep punching the Immortal for as much as we can, because we're going to have to back anyway soon. Our W, though, is the Owl. It's called the Sentinel. You're going to fling the Owl. It goes the entire distance of the map, and then whoever it hits, it's going to do damage and reveal them. Revealing them for 5 seconds. Now, there are talents that we're going to take that will make this much, much better later on, but there's only one. So ultimately, your owls are going to be good for doing one thing, and that'll become apparent later on. And then your E is called the Lunar Flare. This is your big stun. It's a 0.75 second stun, so it's better at follow-up than it is for anything else, but it is an AoE stun as well. So if you manage to hit multiple people with this bad boy, that's going to be really good for your team, because it is very glaringly obvious. And then, as far as all that's concerned, your team is very apt to follow up on damage or CC that is obvious. Even if you're playing with mega potatoes, baked potatoes, if you will, they will still be able to follow up damage on Lunar Flare, most likely. Looks like we got a kill, but Thrall let the building die, because we had 5 people down in the bottom lane for some reason. Thrall's gonna do what Thrall's gonna do, I guess. And then your trait, your final button in your kit, it's called the Hunter's Mark. It's gonna reveal an enemy, reduce their armor by 15 for 4 seconds. It's a point-and-click ability. You just hit the D button, cast it on the hero or the boss or the mercenary, whatever you want to cast it on that's not a building, will have its armor reduced by 15. That's why Tyrande is extremely good on BOE specifically, because she can turn the armor off for the Immortal. Well, turn armor down for the Immortal. Negative 15 armor. Same thing for like bosses on Cursed Hollow or the Warhead Junction boss. She can just press her D button there. Everybody will attack it all at once, and they're all doing 15% more damage. Just as easy as that. On top of that, we have talents that are going to be able to reset that button. We're going to have talents that make our buddies do more damage. Please get away from me. Nice. Root wasted. Way to go, team. We are killing people down 10s. Love it. Love to see it. Even though our buildings are mostly dead, we're going to make it through. I didn't we'll see. I accidentally picked Shadowstalk. Turns out we're using a new keyboard, and the buttons are tough to push if your fingers aren't ready for them. So we've got Shadowstalk when what I really wanted was Starfall, but we're making it work. We'll have to do what we have to do. Shadowstalk makes your entire team invisible, and it is going to heal them. How much is the heal? 563 over 10 seconds. Kind of not great healing. I wish it was a lot more than that, but whatever. Especially with the amount of unstealthing that people will do to themselves. Not super in love with it. Landing the stun as he comes out, the Root is going to miss, and Karazim is going to get popped by the Thrall, who is still going in, but we should be doing the objective, because on the bottom side of the map, there are currently mercenaries being ignored by our offlaner, so whatever, we're going to lose that building too, but maybe if we get the Immortal, we'll have a good time pushing back. We're getting lots and lots and lots of kills, so he's just going to walk over there and wait until he's killable. It's okay. Going to ignore that. Back to what we were talking about. So, yeah, Shadowstalk, not great. Feel like it could definitely use some buffs. But Starfall, what Starfall does is gives you a huge area of damage that's going to drop down in that field over a very long time. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He didn't die. I couldn't get a single auto attack on him. Got him that time, though. He walked back up and got his shit arrowed. Nice. Now, but Starfall, what that's doing, all that damage that's happening to heroes or whatever in that AoE, is giving you cooldown reduction on your Q. So ultimately, that is the ability that is going to let you heal for the most, because it's reducing the cooldown of your main heal button, which can heal a lot. So Remember, when you're playing this character, Starfall is the heal ultimate, even though Shadowstock says it does healing. Shadowstock is more of your, like, team-wide utility button. You can set up really big ganks. You can, you know, turn people invisible when they're being attacked by auto-attackers. So if they're ever being chased by, like, a Butcher or a Greymane or something like that, you just pop that R button and Shadowstock should save people. In this instance, people like Raynor, Kharazim, and Zul'jin should have a really hard time killing people who have been Shadowstalked. So, we'll see if it does any good during the game. Okay, definitely won't if my team keeps walking into death. So, I still have a very long time to go. Looks like Zul'jin's going to die without killing Nova like he did the Thrall. So, kudos, team. Way to go, I guess. I'm just trying to heal our team at this point. This cooldown is really, really insanely long for what this ability does. 90 seconds for Shadowstock. I guess if you're in a coordinated team who has a strategy around Shadowstock, that's probably pretty balanced. But as far as I'm concerned, in every other facet of play, that's pretty shit. So anyway, back to the build. The build is going to start off with True Shot Aura. True Shot Aura has a passive component and it has an activatable component. When you pick this talent, your passive damage is just going to increase by 15%, which is nice. Having more damage for Tyrande to do definitely makes her feel a little bit less... Okay, can we get her? Can we heal? The heal has commenced. Being able to do more damage with Tyrande lets her stand toe-to-toe with a couple of the auto-attackers for a little bit longer. She doesn't necessarily win a lot of trades, but the longer she can auto-attack people, the more windows that you're going to have to use your heal. So that's ultimately what we want. We want more damage. We want people afraid to step up to us. But the other part about this ability that is great is that it also resets the cooldown of your trait. So what you do is you cast your trait, you let everybody do the damage on the trait or the hunter's marked target, and then you can hit your 1 key, have them all do obscene damage, and then hunters mark that target all over again. So they lose 15 armor, and then everybody that you True Shot Aura is going to get 25%. Let's see. Yeah, it's just going to apply 25% basic attack increased damage to your team. Now, sorry, I might have said 15% increased damage, but it is just your auto attacks. Your abilities are not affected, which is fine, I guess. But everybody's going to hit a lot harder. It's going to make everybody who does auto attack damage really, really hurt the enemy team. And then given, you know, we've got a Thrall, we've got a Falstad, we've got a Nova, and everybody on our team benefits from auto attack damage. So, right there, you can see the True Shot Aura going off. I missed the stun. I hope I don't die. Looks like Kharazim's going to get away. I'm just auto-attacking for some more Qs. Everything is going according to plan. The Wolf misses completely, but nope. Completely unkillable Zul'jin says, fuck you, enemy team, but the Falstad with the Gust, oh my god, I hope he doesn't die for that. 20 health, the man gets away. I'm just trying to get some cooldown reduction to get some heals, but it would have been nice if Thrall had hit his root, because then KTZ would be dead, and Zul'jin would be dead, and whatever, we're doing good things. The buildings are dead, we're going to get the bosses, we're killing stuff. I mean, sure, it's fine. Missing abilities is part of playing the game. It happens sometimes. Now, your next talent, Everlasting Light, I'm taking this over Elune's Chosen because recently I've just found out that I suck at using Elune's Chosen. You have to cast that on a person, and then you have to do a bunch of auto-attack damage, and that feels like shit because I am not good at either of those things, and I am especially not good at healing, so I'm not paying attention to people who need it, and I don't have any tanks in these games, so it's like, fuck it. Instead, we're going to be picking Everlasting Light. So Everlasting Light is going to give the second heal that you do to a separate target 80% increased healing. So what that means is that of Tyrande's 2 charges, say we heal Thrall for the first one, and then we heal Nova for the second one, she's going to get a massive burst of healing from that Q. Looks like Thrall going down to the Zul'jin again, and Falstad dead. Can we... Oh, I missed the owl. Looks like KTZ is going to just root us, but isn't aware that all we need to do is auto-attack him. Got to get out of his damage, do a couple more auto-attacks, and then run the fuck away from Zul'jin because he just watched his KTZ 1v1 me and lose, which was quite honorable of him, but he definitely could have killed me if he wanted to. Definitely would be dead there if the enemy team was paying at all attention. Now, Everlasting Light, again, you have to cast it on different targets. Think of it like Thrall's Thunderstorm. But you cast it on one person, and then you cast it on another one for a big boost. You can also cast it on yourself. If you don't have anybody who needs healing, you could just Alt-Q, and then the second Q is a huge chunk of healing to give to somebody who might need it. And that big healing chunk on characters like Nova and Falstad is incredibly good, while the baseline heal for characters like Thrall and Zul, who can just heal themselves kind of passively, is still just as good. So you have a lot of options with this talent. I like it a lot, but it does require a bit of decision making and mental power to make happen. That being said, Elun's Chosen much harder to use than this talent, I think, but probably more effective overall. Anyway, that being said, Everlasting Light, super good. 7 is a mandatory talent. The Moonlit Arrows is going to further increase the cooldown reduction of your auto attacks. So the whole reason that we even tried to 1v1 Kel'Thuzad earlier is because we had the massive cooldown reduction on our auto attacks. So, basic attacks are going to decrease the cooldown of Light of Elune by additional 0.75 seconds. So that means that they are currently going down 2.25 seconds every time that we auto attack. So, ultimately that means more healing for everybody and happier Tyrande. Even if you're not building the rest of this build, this talent is the most important thing that you can have at level 7, because this just means more healing for Tyrande. It's the most important part of her early talents. So get used to that, get used to auto attacking, do what you gotta do, but this talent's must pick. Must pick. Now, 13, your Harsh Moonlight is what I picked up. This is our only owl talent in the entire build, but Sentinel is going to slow by 35% and reduce damage by 35% for 4 seconds. So that is a huge amount of time for a 35% slow, and the damage reduction is also going to be nuts amounts of time for that. Not only, well, Nova died, but we got the 3-for-1, it looks like. Fantastic stuff. There's the 4-for-1 shortly following after, and Murky is the only character left alive who is going to pose no threat for our immortal race. But the owl essentially becomes a global engage for your team. So if you fire off an owl, let's just say into the solo, maybe you've got a Hogger clearing a wave, and then there's, you know, like an Asmo pushing into him, or trying to go for a building, or trying to run away after dropping his ult on a building, and that owl connects with the Asmo. That's 4 seconds of huge slow and shrink, and then Hogger can just casually auto-attack that character to death. So this talent specifically is the one that I want for the owl for this build, because it gives us more utility from a global range, and it lets our characters get, or our teammates get, more close to the enemy, which is oftentimes not very easy for them to do, especially when you're playing with potatoes, but that's an entirely separate issue, so we can kind of put them in the same bucket for now. Now, your 16 talent is going to be Celestial Attunement. The reason that I'm taking this is because, you know what, there was not a good reason to take this. Because this talent does not remove roots. This talent removes stuns, silences, and slows, which is absolutely junk into what we're looking at right now. Because KTZ is all roots, Kerosene has no CC, Raynor has a knockback, Murky has a stun, like a full stun with Octograb, which is great. We can remove that, but apart from the slows on, you know, 4 of those characters, and the Murky Octo, this talent is being largely wasted. And that is unfortunate because it is also probably the least fun talent at the tier. But in the face of an Octo Grab, it is good. We can heal the character up. We can get them out of the Octo Grab. That's fine. Really, though, I would have liked to take Darnassian Archery. The stacking increased basic attack damage against heroes. So, oh, he died before I could even cleanse him. So that's nice. Fine. Big stun from the Thrall. Finally getting his revenge on the Taz-dingoed Zul'jin. He's coming up. I'm excited to try that character out. Yeah. And then at 20, we ended up picking Shooting Star, which is going to increase your auto attack range. Ultimately, that's going to make it easier for you to auto attack people, get the cooldown reduction, get your Qs going, and then every 8 auto attacks, I believe it is, you're going to drop down a random lunar flare. So that prioritizes heroes, and then you'll have that on top of your own lunar flare that you can follow up your own stun on. So if the enemy team is unlucky enough to get hit by the random lunar flare and you catch that, you drop another one right on top of them. Suddenly you have a full 1.5 second stun on someone because some arrows and some auto attacks were going in your favor. Is that a me? That's a me VP. I'm gonna be real with you. Playing Tyrande, I did not feel like it was going to happen. Getting an MVP on this character is tough. But I guess the build kind of played out the way that I needed it to, so I got 2 votes. Look at that. Nova and I splitting the votes down the middle. I also had 5 kills with 1 death. Damn. Thrall with 13 and 2. Really? Really? You picked me over Thrall, huh? Okay. We did have about the same experience, Soaked. Huge disparity in damage, though, but I guess my biggest healing stat counted, well, I 25 and a quarter. I was basically involved in 90% of the kills. So, that's cool. Anyway, the build again is going to be True Shot Aura, Everlasting Light, Moonlit Arrows, Shadow Stalk, Harsh Moonlight, Celestial Attunement, and Shooting Star. Again, Celestial Attunement, level 16, it's up to your preference or what you need. You want this to cleanse those specific things. So remember, stuns, silences, and slows, not roots. So if you're playing into a big root team, don't pick this shit. Find something else to have fun with. But that is it for Tyrande. So we've got Tyrael and Tyrande out of the way. Next up, I believe, is Uther. And then following Uther will be Valeera to round out the week. But I will see you guys there. Strap in for the hammers and the stuns.